Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast, Spoiler Territory. Today, we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman, the film from 2017. I was wondering how this film was going to be. Like, I first saw in the trailers, I was wondering how it will impact the rest of the DCEU, knowing understanding the fact that the previous film didn't do so well, especially with it having a main female lead such as Holly. But for this film, I really feel like it blew us out of the water. It was had a lot of great things within the storytelling. I loved the getting part where we get to understand Diana when she was little and trying to understand that she wanted to understand the world she lived in as to us as well, because we're seeing this film for the first time, so we want to know how um, these characters in the film treat each other in Themyscira. So I really love how they treat each other, they understand each other, and they respect each other, even knowing the fact that there was a lot of their mom was made her clay like she did in the comics. So that was really a really great move that she did. I really love how we had to learn that she was she was being trained by her aunt, right? She was being trained, and that was something that I really love seeing, the progression of her becoming a little bit better with her skills, and because I feel like it shows that she's not she wants to be the best version of herself, and she's not trying to be the best of all of them. Like what they did, unfortunately, about it, how they did Captain Marvel, for example, like that film really mistreated um, main characters really poorly. But in this film, it was like this film is a great example on how to really treat a main character, especially the fact that this film doesn't really talk that it doesn't point out that she's a woman, but it points out that she's herself. She's a character that in the story that needs to be told the right way, and they did it in the best way possible. I feel like this film really did a marvelous job with the storytelling of how to treat a lead character. I really love how they introduced Steve in this film. He was trying to he's he's a pilot, so he wants to have to do his missions. He's also a spy. The way Diana and Steve interacted with each other worked really well, because we try to we try to do what we're trying to do, is like understand that their world, that Steve's trying to understand what the Themyscira is, and Diana's trying to understand what's out there. So it's a really nice blend of how to understand these characters really well. The Amazonians, they are really they're really skilled. They really understand how to that they were preparing for themselves for a war that may never come, but the fact that like something along the lines of that happened, they were prepared. So there was they really, even though they all didn't survive in the beach scene, where like it was something that they were prepared for. It was something that even though it wasn't, even though they had no idea who the Germans are, I feel like they really would well with them. I feel like it was something that they had to. That I really love how prepared they were in the film, and the almost amazing that the costume designers of this film really showed a lot of great things within the Themyscira, and also in this film the the era they lived in. I think it was like 1918, right around that time when this film takes place. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think it's around that time. The black coat thing that Diana wears, I feel like And I feel like it really worked well with her because I feel like if you just saw her wear the Wonder Woman armor right of the right in the beginning, it wouldn't be as impactful. The No Man's Land scene would be as impactful as it usually would be, but I feel like I feel like it made sense for it to be that way. So I really love how they included that within her character's journey. I sometimes wonder why in this film Diana doesn't understand what marriage is, but Steve explained to her what marriage is and all these things, and I feel like that's the one thing I feel like I should have really known. But for the stories that her mom told her, we were introduced to two interesting characters, Dr. Poison and I should be saying his name wrong, so sorry for fans. Lufendorf, right? Lufendorf. Yeah. I feel like those two characters really. This film had potential to make those two villains instead of just throwing Ares name in there. I feel like that was a bit of a stretch there. I feel like this film had the opportunity to turn Dr. Poison as the villain instead, because I feel like if they would have done that, she would have learned how to. I feel like she should have learned from her. And now that I think of it, did she even say one word to Dr. Poison? Because I watched the film recently, so I don't think she did. But I feel like that's one problem sometimes with films these days, is that the main hero and the main villain don't really interact with each other. And not only that, but the fact that for example, Dr. Poison didn't really interact with Diana, for example. They really lost the opportunity to make her interesting villain for Diana. Not just an interesting villain, but like, hopefully what I'm trying to say is that the should had, she should have had Dr. Poison as a villain as well. If they would have had her have Diana and Dr. Poison understand each other's points of views of why she was creating the gas and why Diana wants to, who she wants to be. I feel like those two characters not seen eye to eye, for example, really was, they really, it was a bad move. And now on top of that, I feel like the fact that same thing happened with Diana and Ares, where they didn't really have any connection or build up throughout the meaning when they first met. And we understand why Diana wants to save the world and all these things, because that's who she wants to be. But and then we understand that the other characters like Lufendorf, and for example, he's part of like the military. He wants to win on his side. So, you know, we could have had interactions with Diana and him, understanding the reasons behind all this. I feel like the certain things that I wish Steve didn't, like, in the stuff that Steve said to Diana, I feel like I wish she heard that version, like a similar version from Lufendorf. Like Lufendorf told Diana, this is what needs to be done, and like, people are dying ways, all these things. So, and it makes Diana feel a little bit more vulnerable and really uh, she we will have to acknowledge that she won't be able to fix everything, even though we know she definitely won't. But she feels that she can save everyone with just one bad drive. And the thing that Steve said in the end of towards the ending, after Diana found out who Ares really is, the fact that Steve said uh, that he explained to her that all these things could have been, that is not just the speech that he gave her about that it's not just one bad guy, all these things. I feel like I don't know why. I wish he would have said those things in the beginning of the film, as much as like understanding wants to build a character, like all these things. They want to build their romance interactions with each other, but I feel like Steve was really upfront and honest with Diana in the beginning of the film. She would have understood her what's really going on, and then she would have done she would have like, really care about she would have a brighter idea of and see the bigger picture of what's really going on in World War One and all these things. So overall, that's like I feel like that's one of the major complaints I have about the film, other than the fight between Ares and Diana. That was I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like there was no payoff, no journey. It was just them fighting each other, and then that was it. And then Diana won, but I feel like first like Diana had challenges too. Steve being like, oh, we see them that Ares before he turned to Ares, he was like he gave Diana and Steve a group of other characters to be with throughout the mission, and even though we don't know why um, why he did that, I feel like he led them to all this journey just for him to fight Diana, and I think that was really off. I feel like there was no reason for I don't know why she went all this way just to he made Diana go all this way just to fight him in the end at that. But anyways, he we got introduced to Charlie and two other characters I don't remember the names of. Unfortunately, I'm trying to remember, but overall, I will try to understand. The fact is that they are they're really interesting people to they there to help out, and they help Diana really well. I feel like they really worked well as a team, and were uh, they were starting to understand each other. I feel like Diana was really necessary for those characters to be surrounded by Diana, because I feel like they she was trying to understand different perspectives of how the other people are during the war and all these things. So I really love those characters. They were really interesting. By the way, the action scenes were amazing. I really love the style of Diana's fighting. Her weapons that she uses, I feel like it was made for her. I don't feel like any other character should be as skilled as her, and it was done really well. I really love the action scene, especially the No Man's Land when she took off the black coat thing that she wore to then that revealed her suit. I feel like it was really necessary. It was really brilliantly done scene, and that's like one of the best scenes that DC's done. Like, for real, like that was next to the refining a warehouse. That was really cool. I really love what this film can do for Wonder Woman fans out there. I feel like it was really it really sets a great example on how to treat a female character the right way, and how she can lead her own film without all these other things that nobody likes talking about, all these random stuff that makes people feel a little off about the, the films. But overall, I felt like it was a lot of great things that happen with this film. Is that we see the Diana's story, we see her story, her journey, her point of views, and we see her as a brave character, and really a character that we really love to look forward to seeing in the future of the DCEU. So a lot of great things happen within this character in this film. I feel like Gal Gadot and Paige Jenkins really did a brilliant job making this character come to life for real, and especially also putting her in the around the time area where she was in during World War One. I feel like that was a great place to put her in, because I feel like it was really necessary for her to be. It was a great way to see her in that way. Steve Trevor dying, I feel like it would have been avoided, but I feel like it was necessary. Despite what the Wonder Woman 1984 is, in this film alone, I feel like him being killed off was like, I feel like it felt like it was needed to be done. I feel like, and also the fact that there were a couple in comic books and cartoons that we don't see them like, be romantic with each other, and also understand that they adore each other. That's really something that I really loved that they did, was they introduced these characters, and they must really love their on-screen chemistry was done really well. I really loved that, how they um took care of each other in the film. I cannot wait to see what she's going to be doing in the Snyder Cut. It's gonna be awesome to do so. This will be the next. That's the next episode. Next week, I'm going to do the Snyder Cut. It's gonna be split into two parts. My episode podcast we split into two parts. I will review the first 2 hours in one episode, and I'll review the other 2 hours, the next one, just to I just don't want to like make one video just end it there. But yeah, just I feel like if I split it up, it'd be harder to break more things down, and especially the fact that that film has so many characters in there, and we're trying to understand these characters and everything. So that's something I will be doing 100%. I will not do the theatrical version because I personally don't care about that theatrical version at all. I'm just not interested in that. So if you're looking for like me talking about that version of the film, I won't do it. I have the Snyder Cut to do, and then I will do Shazam because I didn't do Shazam back then. So yeah, definitely just know how that is. I feel like that's good enough for the review. I feel like the fact that this DC comics so far, despite how people feel about these films, they're doing the best, and they're doing something really. These characters have really strong stories within themselves. So I feel like it was, for example, Wonder Woman. Since we're talking about her, we see her really, we see something amazing within her. We see a lot of we see these DC characters have a lot of potential, and also a lot of so many brilliant story arcs along the way. And I feel like when we see these characters at their best, we grateful for the characters that we're seeing in the journeys they're having. So hopefully you guys love this review of not review but this episode of the podcast. So I appreciate all of you so much for watching. Don't forget to also listen to this on Anchor. So if you're interested in just listening to the audio version, I highly recommend it. I will see you guys next week for the hours 1 and 2 of the Snyder Cut. Right. Have a good day. Bye.